where news comes first. This is WECT News.
Thanks so much for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Daniela Hankey. New at 11, UNC Wilmington has detailed more ways of it getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, on campus. It comes a year after the University of North Carolina system controversially banned DEI practices. Now, WCT's Connor Smith dug through the DEI compliance report that UNCW had to submit. Connor, how will this impact students and also school staff?
Well, Daniela, a variety of offices, programs, and jobs have been adjusted over the last year, but the university says removing DEI won't change their support of respect and acceptance on campus. UNC Wilmington taking another step away from DEI. The university submitting a mandatory 11-page compliance report proving it has eliminated DEI on campus. After last year's decision, UNCW closed its Office of Institutional Diversity and Inclusion. 13 employees were reassigned and students protested.
There was no reason to make these, in my opinion, very drastic changes.
The university also realigned 4 cultural centers and adjusted campus programs, scholarships, and content in some classes. The report says the goal is to, quote, support all UNCW students. A school spokesperson sent us the following statement. It reads in part, quote, nothing in this process or the equality policy impacts the university's longstanding commitment to academic freedom and its faculty's teaching, research, and service. Nor does the process change UNCW's support and expectation of mutual respect and acceptance among students, faculty, and staff. The school's Equality Policy Subcommittee was created as a result of the UNC system's decision. They discussed the changes in 2 meetings last month. New Hanover County Commissioner Dane Scalise and Pender Commissioner Jimmy Tate are among the committee's members. The bottom of the report reads, quote, these recommendations underscore the subcommittee's commitment to transparent governance, compliance, and continuous improvement in support of UNCW's mission and the success of all students, end quote. Now we've got more details on these changes and that full report UNCW submitted right inside this story on our website. And Daniela, we also reached out to members of that subcommittee. They either didn't get back to us today or said they were unavailable for an interview.
All right, Connor, thanks for that update tonight.